You have the legal right to sit in a classroom, listen to a teacher, and learn from free textbooks. But that right didn't organically appear out of nowhere. It is a carefully engineered reality. Imagine if a small group of leaders could bypass that engineering, if they could draft a rule and impose it on the entire country overnight without anyone double-checking the details. You'd have chaos, with public services and civil rights radically changing on a whim. To prevent that scenario, India relies on its parliament as its ultimate quality control system. People often complain that the legislative process is slow, bogged down by debates, readings, and committees. But that friction is an intentional feature. It forces lawmakers to pause and verify their ideas. By dragging proposed rules through multiple institutional checkpoints, the system guarantees that your basic freedoms and daily services are protected from sudden or unfair changes. To see how this quality control works in practice, let's track the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009. Before it was an act, it started as a bill, a written proposal for a new law. While you might assume all bills start in the lower house, ordinary bills can be introduced in either the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha. Once introduced, the draft is usually handed off to a standing committee. This is the expert inspection checkpoint. A small group of parliament members tears the document apart, reading it line by line to identify flaws, like exactly how the government is going to pay for millions of new textbooks and teachers. After the committee suggests improvements, the revised text hits the full legislative floor. Here, representatives publicly debate the provisions, propose new amendments, and hold an official vote. If it passes, the entire process repeats in the other house. The final step is a constitutional signature. Once both houses agree, the draft is sent to the President of India. With their formal assent, the proposal becomes a legally enforceable act. This sequential, multi-house journey forces every new law to survive rigorous vetting by experts and representatives before it ever reaches your neighborhood. There is one major exception to this journey. When the government wants to alter taxes or approve the union budget, it uses a specialized VIP pathway called a money bill. These financial drafts have strict routing rules. They can only originate in the Lok Sabha. The upper house, the Rajya Sabha, can suggest changes, but they have zero power to reject or block the bill from passing. This bypass exists for a specific reason. The funds we're talking about come directly from the public. Therefore, only the direct representatives of the citizens, the members of the Lok Sabha, hold the authority to decide how that money is spent. By linking the power of the purse exclusively to the directly elected House, the Constitution prevents unchecked government taxation and spending. Passing a law is only the first step. Parliament is also responsible for verifying that the executive branch actually implements those rules correctly. Every single day the legislature meets, they hold a question hour. Members of Parliament interrogate sitting ministers, demanding direct, public answers about policy decisions and service delivery. They also use permanent committees to track real-world results. The Parliamentary Health Committee actively reviews the progress of new medical facilities, calling out lagging states. If a department consistently fails these checks, Parliament holds ultimate leverage, threatening its funding in the next budget cycle. Parliament acts as the mechanic of the state, continuously monitoring the legislative machine to ensure the executive branch runs it as intended. But this system isn't on autopilot. In recent years, legislative sessions have been derailed by intense disruptions, absenteeism, and debates that prioritize anger over substance. This line graph maps out parliamentary sittings and productivity percentages over recent decades, showing a clear downward trend. When the legislature spends less time functioning, critical bills skip the careful committee process, and executive oversight is drastically reduced. A massive democratic engine like this requires a constant source of fuel to overcome institutional friction. That fuel is an informed public. Citizens act as the final, ultimate checkpoint. By participating in government consultations and voting responsibly, you enforce accountability from the outside in. The parliamentary structure is expertly designed to protect your rights, but its effectiveness ultimately depends on the active participation of the people.